can smell the onion. I can smell the cilantro.
Excited about our recipe. It looks really colorful.
Alrighty.
Looks really fresh.
Just getting the computer set up. Thank you for being patient with us today. Alrighty. Ready to get started?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
About that time.
Awesome.
All right.
Hello, everybody, and happy National Nutrition Month. This year's theme is Fuel for the Future. And my name is Jo Kiocho, and I am so glad you're joining us today.
Hi, and my name is Erica Jo. I'm a nutrition educator in the Hudson Valley region of New York State. So we're excited to be with you today to create a quick and easy SNAP-Ed recipe that considers respecting our planet and keeping the environment in mind. All right, Jo. So we've already washed our hands.
We have
Our 20 seconds of hand washing, and we are ready to jump in. Now, if you're joining us from Facebook and you have questions, you can pop those questions right in the Facebook. And at the end, we're going to have a little chat with our awesome team who's in the room, and they'll be reading those questions out for us to answer. So we are excited to have you here with us today, and let's jump in. So
our recipe today is 2 bean and corn salad. Going to pop that recipe in the chat if you want to follow along.
Great. So 2 bean and corn salad. So let's talk through some of our ingredients. So my favorite thing about this recipe is that it's 12 ingredients and it cost me less than $12 to get everything that we needed. So quick and easy. It's a great little lunch plan for you if you don't got one for today. So let's go through some of the ingredients and why we picked them, if that works for you. Okay. So the first one is our beautiful celery. It smells amazing.
Love it.
Right? Our red bell pepper, although we're going to talk about this later, you could go any color. Our red onion, some beautiful fresh cilantro. We have a little cumin, sodium-free seasoning, right? A little cumin. And our recipe calls for a can of Great Northern beans. But when I was at the grocery store and I was looking for low sodium beans, I was able to find these small white beans that were low sodium. So I did a quick substitution. Again, what's great about this recipe is you can really make it your own. A low sodium can of black beans. So not only is this recipe eating with the environment in mind, but it's also a really healthy recipe as well. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So a little bit of veggie oil, a little bit of balsamic vinaigrette. I went with the store brand of the balsamic vinaigrette to save a couple bucks.
Good idea.
And our last ingredient is our frozen corn. Alrighty. I like the frozen veggies.
Yeah. Because
I think it's a myth that it's a common myth that fresh veggies are the most nutritious of any, right? So oftentimes, I know in New York State right now, I cannot grow a red bell pepper at my house in New York City right now. So because these things are often picked a little bit before they're ripe in order to ship them, it can often make frozen veggie even more nutritious than our fresh veggies because they're picked when they're ripe and then they're flash frozen and then they arrive to us high in nutrients, which is fantastic.
I love that. And I love that you're picking all different kinds of vegetables, fresh, frozen, and canned, right? So remember, if you eat following the My Plate, right, half of our plate should be fruits and vegetables. So now you have options here, fresh, frozen, or canned.
Yeah, definitely. And also if we're eating with the environment in mind, frozen veggies are a great choice because we can take what we don't use and refreeze it.
Yeah.
Right.
No
so
waste.
It's great, really convenient, reducing the waste. And speaking of no waste, a lot of these ingredients didn't come in packaging, which is great. So we're reducing the packaging. All right, Jo, that's enough talking. Let's jump into this thing, right? Okay. So what am I doing?
So let's start with our dressing. We're going to start with about let me check my recipe, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil.
And again, if you want to follow along with us, this recipe is in the chat, so you can check that out there.
And our next ingredient is 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinaigrette.
2 tablespoons of balsamic vinaigrette. All right, beautiful.
And I love that you did the store brand. A lot of times that could be the cheaper option, right? And I know right now prices are high, so look for the cheaper options when you can. Store brands are a really good option.
Yeah, sorry.
2
tablespoons. There we go.
And then our non-sodium spice is going to be our 1 teaspoon of cumin. I love cumin.
Cumin. Yeah, and you know what? I love the dollar store for our sodium-free seasonings, right?
Yeah.
So seasonings can be one of those things that are kind of pricey, right? They can up the cost of a lot of our recipes. But don't sleep on the dollar store because you can get some great salt-free seasonings right at the dollar store for a lot less than what you'd get them in the grocery store. So
That's a really good tip, right? So either buying your spices in bulk or go to the dollar store, right? Because there's so many good spices out there that will help flavor your food. So now you're whisking away. Thank
give it a
you.
little zhuzh. Hopefully you can see. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, there's our dressing. I'm gonna set it aside for
Awesome.
the moment.
And now is time for our beans. So again, we have two different kinds of beans here, as Erica said. Try to get the low sodium or no sodium varieties. Otherwise, or actually you can rinse off your beans to get some of that sodium off. So I'll go ahead and give you that.
Yep, and I don't like a lot of dishes, so I'm gonna put these both right in the same colander. And I'm gonna give them a quick rinse under water. So if you buy the low sodium beans, you're gonna get the heart health benefit of that. And you're gonna rinse off the remaining salt. It's gonna cut that salt down quite significantly. So don't forget to rinse your beans.
Good idea. Also, don't forget that that beans are a plant-based protein. So not only are you nourishing your body, but you're helping to protect the planet, right? Because actually growing plant-based proteins are a lot better for our natural resources. It uses less water, it uses less land. And of course, if you're using less land, then you're kind of maintaining our forests. And if you're maintaining our forests, then you're also protecting some of these species that live in those forests. Because remember, my friends, we live in an ecosystem and we are part of a food web, and our choices make a difference. Oh, fantastic.
Absolutely.
We have our beans ready. Moving on to our next, so our beautiful beans here. And our next ingredient is going to be celery. So I have a little trick with our celery. I like to do a little food scrap gardening. And what I'm going to do here to do that is cut off about 2 inches of the bunch right down here. And one of the most easiest, simplest things you could do to grow your own celery is place that little bunch right into our little bowl, some water in the bottom. And guess what? In about a few days, you'll see some leaves growing from the top, and you'll even see a stalk forming in about a week. So you're going to want to put this in a window and also change the water every couple of days. And voila, you are a celery gardener, right? So you can keep growing, do a little food scrap gardening. And now I'm going to just take the 3 stalks that we need for the recipe and start chopping. We've pre-washed all of our vegetables.
I love the container gardening. That's so simple and it's so pretty, right? I would love that in the kitchen though.
Exactly. And what we normally consider a food scrap or food, something that gets wasted, can actually regrow our own food and save us some money in the process.
Love it, love it. So we do have our beans. I'll pop over here. We do have our beans. They're beautiful. They're rinsed. They're 2 different colors. And I love it because this recipe is so colorful and fun. And then we're going to start to add cut veggies right into this. Beans are great, not only because they are an alternate source of protein. And what I mean by that is that it's not a meat protein, right? So you don't have to be a complete vegetarian, but going meatless for even 1 meal a week can be great for the environment and can be great for our bodies. So this recipe, the beans are also a great contributor of fiber, which means this recipe has about 9 grams of fiber in it between the beans and the corn. And you only need 6 grams of fiber to be considered a high fiber meal. So this is great for the environment and it's great for our digestive health too. All right, beautiful. So we added our celery. What's next?
What's next is our red bell pepper.
Beautiful. So our red bell pepper.
Thank you.
So what's great about this recipe again is you can kind of bend and flex with what's on sale at the grocery store. So we love that the red bell pepper adds some color to what we're making today. But if green is what you have in your fridge or green is what's on sale at the grocery store, you could totally go green, or if you wanted to be a little more festive, you could go yellow, whatever bell pepper that you've got on hand.
Love that. All right, and bell peppers are really super easy to cut, right? So you cut that right in half the long way, take your 2 bunny ears, pull out the seeds, right? Some have been known to save the seeds and plant it. I don't have my life that together, so I actually compost my seeds, right? Because compost is just as important for the environment. It contributes to soil health, right? And also it's so easy to cut that kids can actually help you do this. What I found in my several years of teaching kids how to cook and to garden is that if they grow it, if they plant it, if they water it, if they chop it, they will most likely try it, right? So it's a good way to get your kids involved in eating more vegetables.
Yeah, don't be shy too. A lot of these vegetables can be cut with just a simple butter knife at home, right? So get
Right.
your kids in the kitchen, get them involved if you have them, because you'll be dealing with less picky eating. That's a great point. All right.
All right, our beautiful red bell pepper. And of course, there are all sorts of different bell peppers out there, yellow, orange, red. So pick what might be cheapest for you or tastes best for you. It's very versatile, this recipe.
Our
All right.
onion, Joe.
Thank you.
All right,
All
so
right, I'll try not to cry, but I
Okay.
can't promise.
do you have any tips?
I don't have any tips. I just cry. I let it all out.
Neither do I. I
Yeah.
also cry.
It's a good time to just let it all out. So 1 cup of onion. This is a big onion, so I'm going to use just about half of the onion, which is about 1 cup. And we're going to dice that up. Oh, I love the smell of red onion, even though it makes me cry. And another way to get some flavor in your food, of course, is our fresh vegetables, right? Because fresh vegetables, like onions, like garlic, even the cilantro that we're using today, can add so much flavor to food.
Yeah, definitely. And what I love about onion and cilantro and cumin, and even the celery in this recipe, is that it adds a lot of flavor without necessarily adding any sodium or salt. So again, high in fiber, good for our gut, low in salt, good for our heart, and really inexpensive and easy. So, and really aromatic. It smells amazing in here, right? Between the celery and
Love
the
it.
onion and the fresh cilantro, it smells so good and it's pretty.
It's very pretty.
Right.
Look at that. This time it didn't even make me cry.
This is a great one to bring to like a potluck too.
Yeah,
It looks really complicated.
it's not, but actually we're almost done. So take a look at that. It's quick and easy as well.
Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna add our frozen corn.
Good idea.
So I did thaw the frozen corn out. But again, you can freeze what you don't use, or you can thaw. Let me say that better. You can thaw what you're planning to use and freeze what you're not. So there's no waste with a frozen vegetable, which I love. All right, so I am adding 2 cups of the frozen corn. Here, so I'll put 4 of them. You good?
Good.
All right. Ooh, that is super pretty. Okay. And
Next ingredient is celery.
cilantro.
Oh, that's cilantro. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
It was right next to the celery. All right.
Smells
Oh,
so good.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Right.
chop that up. Everything included here.
Fresh herbs. And I love that Joe actually put some of this in the container to save for later, right? You can use it at different times and for different meals. And it's just gorgeous. So between this in my kitchen window and the celery in my kitchen window, oh my goodness. I'm gonna look like I really have it together. So
Right.
I appreciate that.
You do have it together,
Thank
Erica.
you.
But it actually makes the celery last a little bit longer if you store it this way, right? So Erica just mentioned with the corn, you want to avoid food waste. Oh my goodness, 30 to 40% of our farmers' crops are actually lost to food waste. So we want to be able to preserve our food as long as possible, right? And storing them correctly is one of the best ways to do that. So either frozen or putting them in a jar with some water will help with that process.
Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna put this over here and then I'm gonna put my dressing from the beginning, right? Our beautiful dressing from the beginning. I am going to add that over top. And then Joe, since you are like the most amazing chef ever, do you want to give it a final stir?
Sounds good.
All right, beautiful. And this quick and easy dish, again, we took us less than 12 minutes,
Yeah.
less than $12, less than 12 ingredients.
Love
And it covers a lot of the groups on the My Plate, right? So we've got our fruits and veggies section. We've also got our protein because of the beans. So this is really helping us to accomplish a balanced meal.
I love it, right? And when you take a look at the My Plate, remember, think about what you have to add to your plate. If you're having lunch with us right now, take a look at your plate. Do you have half your plate fruits and vegetables? And if not, don't think about what you need to stop eating, what you need to take away. Always think about what you need to add to your plate. And maybe this salad is a good one to have on the side.
Yeah, so great point. So this is a great side salad, or it's a great, you could eat it as a lunch, honestly. You could also put it over chicken or fish if you're serving a dinner too, right? So a lot of great options for this. It's beautiful, it's colorful. Joe, are you ready to give this a shot?
I love it. Let's do it.
Okay, beautiful.
I'm hungry. I've been
All
waiting.
right, let me try not to make a mess here.
I've Too late, I've made a mess.
No.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Here you go.
Awesome.
All right. Oh my gosh, look how pretty this is.
All
We can use some
right.
more. So we have a ton of it here. I
Thank you.
think our coworkers would be happy for us to share this afternoon. This is what we look like. This is our finished product. There we go. Super colorful, super pretty.
Love it.
All right, let's give it a
Bon
shot.
appetit. Bon provecho.
A lot of flavor in it, yeah. And if you wanted to make this a little spicy, the recipe also calls for 2 jalapenos if you want to kick it up a notch. So try it today, make it at home. Again, we're going to put the recipe into the chat box. And if this isn't the one that you want to try, or you want to see several other SNAP-Ed recipes, we're going to send you to snapny.org, which we'll put in the chat box also, so you can find some fantastic other recipes from SNAP-Ed Nutritionists. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, and don't forget, on March 15th, please join our friend Jairi from BronxWorks for a grocery store tour about how to eat better on a budget this National Nutrition Month. So have a great one. Happy National Nutrition Month. And we can answer any questions for folks that are still hanging out. Do we have any questions?
We do. The first question is, what can you substitute for the cumin?
What can you substitute for
good idea.
the cumin? That's a good question. What do you think, Joe?
Well, there's lots of different spices on there. So if you don't like the cumin, for instance, you could always try the curry powder, oregano, marjoram. There's all sorts of different spices out there that you can try. Just take a look at your store, look at your shelves, see what different spices they have out there. Different, of course, different people, different taste buds. So I would recommend just exploring a little bit. There's even things like garlic powder that I really love. Garlic powder and cumin are kind of my 2 that I interchange. So you might want to try one or the other, or do a Italian herb mix. We also have that on our SNAP-Ed recipe list. So that actually might be a good one, the Italian herb mix.
So, and you can find some herb blends again. Just make sure that what you're looking for is salt-free or sodium-free on the label. Even with garlic, there's a difference between garlic salt and garlic powder.
Don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled. And the other thing is that sometimes the different types of balsamic can actually have some spices in it and be enough to flavor it as well. So,
Good point.
and like a sodium-free taco seasoning might
Oh,
actually make
yeah.
sense in this too.
Love
So
that.
check that out also.
We have another question. How much protein total is in this recipe?
Protein, let's see what that says. It's 9 grams of protein per serving. Good
9
question.
grams of protein per serving, and that would come from the beans, right? Because
That's
our
right.
beans are our alternate source of protein. So on all of our SNAP-Ed recipes that are on our website, you'll find the nutrition facts also. So you'll be able to see everything that's in all of those recipes there as well.
And our last question for now, if you have another question, please enter it in the chat at this time as we're wrapping up. But for now, the last question is, how many carbs are in this recipe?
Carbohydrates, let's see, is that listed here? Total carbohydrates is 31 grams. Dietary, that includes the dietary fiber, which is the 9 grams, 4 grams of sugar, and 0 grams of added sugar. So a total of 31 grams. All right.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Again, happy National Nutrition Month. We invite you to eat with the environment in mind and check out our website. We're gonna link it below for any recipes that you want to check
That's right.
out and for more information. And don't forget, March 15th, log in again at noon, Facebook Live, YouTube Live for our friends in the BronxWorks and their grocery store tour for how to eat better on a budget, because who couldn't use that
That's
right
right.
now?
I think
Yeah.
we all can use that right now.
Heck yeah. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
guys. Have a great day.